This is Comic Geek Speak, episode 196. Welcome to Comic Geek Speak. I'm Brian Deemer.
I'm Adam Murdo.
I'm Brian Chrisman.
And I'm Jamie D.
And this episode of Comic Geek Speak is sponsored by the webcomic Randall. What happens when you're a 12-year-old kid who possesses all the superpowers you can imagine? You stay home and play video games. At least that's what Randall would rather be doing. Nevertheless, an endless parade of supervillains, giant robots, horrible monsters, high-flying ninjas, and trips to the mall to try on dress slacks with his mom seems to plague Randall's daily life, which seriously cuts into his TV time. Like everyone else his age, Randall just wants to be a kid. But ever since he was granted his incredible powers, he has been forced to put aside his kid duties of slacking off and playing wiffle ball with his friends in favor of saving his small town from certain destruction at the hands of unimaginable foes. It's like extra homework that could actually kill him. He's also trying to figure out what to call his superhero alter ego. So every Wednesday in November, check out www.lazycomics.com, that's comics with an X, for the first pulse-pounding chapter of Randall, a webcomic by Randy Gentile, the guy who letters funny books like Ultimate Fantastic Four, Runaways, Punisher, and that book that has the guy with the claws for some company called Marvel. But anyway, they don't need any more plugs. That's www.lazycomics.com with an X for the ongoing tale of the biggest slacker superhero in history, Randall. And with us on the phone, we have Randy Gentile. Welcome to the show, Randy.
Hey, you guys.
So, you're a letterer, huh?
That's right, yeah. I'm a virtual calligraphy letterer.
Oh, so you're one of...
Heliopolis. You've
Yes.
had him on the show quite a few times.
Yeah, we like Chris. He's a good guy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's all right.
So, what made you decide to do a webcomic?
Well, I've actually been doing another webcomic called NY Comics for a while on the site, and NY Comics is a autobiographical book, and I've been wanting to do a superhero book and something superhero with like an indie kind of flavor to it, so I've stockpiled a few pages of Randall, and this will be the first time that I've actually had weekly updates on the site. So that's what I'm doing this little thing for here today.
So now you're actually drawing and writing and doing the whole thing all by yourself?
Yeah, everything is by me, yeah.
So now, how do I want to phrase this? So you go from being a letterer to also being an artist and a writer. So how does that work for you?
Well, I've always been an artist, and I've always written comics. Lettering, I kind of fell into it through an internship with Marvel. I got the lettering gig as a way to try and make inroads into Marvel, and to try and be a writer and all that kind of stuff. But that's going, but I'm not really going after it as hard as I probably should, or even I don't even know if I really want to anymore. But I've always wanted to just do my own thing, so the webcomic is like the best way to go if you want to do your own thing. No editors, no other interference at all. So that's why I've been going this route.
So what exposure, what have you learned by being in the industry that has taught you that perhaps you don't want to be a comic artist for the big guys anymore?
Well, I've never wanted to be a comic artist. I mean, if you look at the strip, I don't have the style or the ability to be an artist for Marvel. It's one. I mean, when I got the internship, I wanted to be an artist for Marvel, but then my first day there, I was handed a Kubert, one of the Kubert brothers who did Thor. I forget which one it was. They gave me one of like half of that book to scan. And when I looked at those pages, that was I was like, you know what? I'm not even remotely close to this good. It was a big switch in where I wanted to go and what I wanted to do. So as far as being a letterer and how that affected my desire to be a writer, lettering is you had an inker on the show a while ago. Not even a while ago, maybe an episode or two ago.
Yeah, Drew Gerasi.
Yeah, and I kind of giggled because the show notes said that inkers get no love. And I was like, if anybody doesn't get love in the comic industry, it's a letterer. Like, we get, like, zero love. Like, nobody, who cares about the letter is, like, what I always kind of goof
Well,
about.
I gave a hug to Chris once, but that,
That's good.
Okay,
Chris
that's
needs
as close
a
to
hug.
loving
Yeah.
him as I'll get.
Yeah, give Chris a hug whenever you see him. But,
And you mean literally whenever you see him.
A letterer's goal is to not be noticed. So that's kind of it's a hard thing to deal with sometimes. Like, everybody who's part of a book, I think, wants to be noticed and get some kind of recognition. But a letterer's goal is to not be noticed. I mean, the best letter is a letter you don't notice, you don't see. If you're paying attention to a letter, it's probably because he screwed up somewhere, or he's, trying to make himself seen, and that's something I try not to do, and that's something Chris always stressed with me, is like, really, it's not your show, you know what I mean? It's the artist's show, ultimately. The writer is kind of his show, but really it's the artist's show. And so if you're pasting big sound effects over somebody's art, that's really, not cool. So it's really just being where I am now and, like, meeting, people in the industry, and, a lot of people are great, and then a lot of other people are, just like anywhere. Sometimes you work with people and you don't get along with, sometimes you don't get along with your coworkers. Not to say I don't get along with my coworkers, but you know what I mean. It really, it's just a job. So, the more I've become a letterer, and really lettering is just a way to be working in comics, and I'm lucky enough to do it, and I'm really grateful for it. But really, after a while, it's just gotten to the point where I enjoy doing my own thing more than I do anything else. So, hope that didn't sound bad, like I, am ungrateful to be a letterer, or like I hate Marvel or anything. That's totally not true, but,
Please keep hiring me.
What's that?
I said, please keep hiring me.
Yeah, please keep hiring me. Yeah, of course, but yeah, please keep hiring me. I mean,
Randy,
Chris likes me.
The New York Comics, was that the one that was on Pixel Strips for a while?
Yes, it was.
Okay.
It was on Pickle Strips.
Because as soon as you said that, I was like, wait a second, I know this guy. Yeah, because you do some good stuff. I really, really, when we first encountered Pixel Strips, yours was the one that I really liked out of all of them. And it was, you kind of used like a photo backgrounds and then drew in the characters. Yeah. And kind of had the autobiographical feel. It's a really good strip if you seek it out. Now that I hear you have this one, I'm definitely going to have to find it and look at it each Wednesday.
Yeah, thanks, man. Yeah, I mean, the NY Comics and Randall, it's all on the same site now. So,
oh, cool.
Thanks, man.
Now, I would like to ask you a question about webcomics in general. There are some webcomics that I've been exposed to on this show that I genuinely like, and I'll remember to go to them for a couple days or a couple weeks or whatever, but then I just forget, and I don't make it part of my morning routine at work before I get started to go and check for the latest comic. So, as a person who participates in that world, is there any talk or conjecture about ways to increase the distribution of your comics? Like, perhaps, I could imagine, say, an email that I could opt in for that would come, every Wednesday, and in the email would actually be the graphic, the actual webcomic, and I could just read it right in my email, and then I can't forget, or something along those lines. What's the future look like for that kind of stuff?
Yeah, I mean, that would be really great, some sort of email thing. It's, I've never, the NY Comic was my first really trip into webcomic land, and I did zero advertising, and I just nothing. I mean, the only advertising I had was, a signature on the Bennis board or your board or wherever. That's really the only place I ever advertise, and it's obviously free. But it's hard. I mean, webcomic it's like PvP, obviously, which is pretty much the first and the best. And then outside of that, it's really, like you said, it's hard to get people to keep coming back. And you can advertise, but then, it costs money, and it doesn't guarantee anything anyway. I think the best way to go about it in the future is going to be like getting a group of people together and having a lot of different comics on the same, site. I think would probably be the best way, because then you can just go, and if there's one guy there who everybody knows, then you can get exposure to other people. And I think that's really the way people need to go. There's a site called Activate. It's like a live journal blog, and it has like Dean Haspiel, who is like awesome. Dean Haspiel does a lot of American Splendor stuff. He did The Quitter, and he's done some like random Marvel stuff at times too. He and a bunch of people started that website Activate, and I go there like every day because of Dean Haspiel, and then through him I have been exposed to other guys. So I think that would, since that hooked me in, I would think that would be a good way to go for people. But I have no plans to do anything like that at this time. So we'll see what happens. I don't really know.
Randy, what made you decide on this subject? I mean, to go from an autobiographical story about New York to a slacker teenager superhero?
Well, I mean, obviously I love superhero comics working for Marvel. I've always loved Marvel. I've always, read. I'm a big fan of, I guess it would be Silver Age, like the 70s Stan Lee stuff. And it's kind of my attempt to mix a 70s Bronze Age comic with a autobiographical indie comic. Like, if you guys ever heard of Gene Shepard, he's the guy who wrote The Christmas Story that's on TV every Christmas. And he's like my favorite writer. So it's my attempt to kind of mix his style writing in indie comics and a Bronze Age comic into one story. Whether or not I'll be successful at that remains to be seen.
Any particular reason why you chose a 12-year-old to be your protagonist as opposed to somebody a little closer to your own age?
Well, I think it's just I have a nephew named Kyle, and he's 13 now, and I kind of 12, 13. That was a fun age to be back when you were a kid. You just hang out and play video games and read comics and watch TV and play wiffle ball with your buddies, and it was a pretty good age, enjoyable, no worries, no bills, no job. You had school, but if you wanted to pay attention to it, you could. If you didn't want to pay attention to school, you didn't have to. And it seemed like the easiest slacker age to me, at least. And plus, it's fun to write a 12-year-old. Kind of to think that you can be smart as a 12-year-old, but you can still have the innocence and naiveness that I think makes the character fun. So if I can kind of juxtapose how smart he is and still him being a young 12-year-old kid, I think it makes for an interesting character.
Well, anything else that you want to throw in before we move along?
Well, if I had to do, I will make a Marvel plug. If you guys haven't been, Runaways is a book that I've been lettering pretty much since the first issue of that storyline, and I think Brian's wrapping up his stint on Runaways. I'm not sure if I lettered the last issue of his. I think I have one more issue to letter with Brian still, and I think the second hardcover is coming out. Yeah, and that's a book that I think people really need to get on board and read because it's such a great book. And Brian is really one of the best guys. I met him a couple weeks ago here in Brooklyn, and just really great guy. Runaways is just a blast. It's a book that doesn't sell a whole lot, but it really should. I think if people picked it up and read it, they'd really dig it. And plus now, when Brian's ending, some guy named Josh Whedon is taking over. So everybody will read it then. But before everybody jumps onto the Whedon stuff, who hasn't read Brian's run on the book, go back and pick up some of Brian's run on the book because it's an awesome book.
It's one of my favorites. I just got the sixth digest in my shipment on Friday, so I'm anxious to dive into that because
nice.
That whole series has been so strong the whole time. I love it.
Yeah, I mean, there's old book. People always ask me, what's your favorite book that you letter? And it's, easily Runaways by a mile. It's such an awesome book. Everybody who works on it is really, it's a really close, that's actually a book that everybody on the team is really close-knit, and, there's group emails, and, we have a lot of fun working on that book, and I think it shows through.
I'm not sure why that book has not been as popular as it should be, because it's one of those books where I'll preach it to somebody, and I'd say at least 3 out of 5 people who I say, hey, you should read this book, end up going, wow, that was fantastic.
Yeah.
So with a growth rate like that, I don't know why it's not like a consistent 40,000 copy seller. I just don't get it.
I don't either. It really kind of baffles me. Like why aren't people reading it? I'm sure if you read it, you would love it. You know what I mean? And it's kind of a weird thing because it's got a big name and Brian in it, but it's just strange. And I know what's going to happen is when Whedon takes over, it's going to be if it's not number 1, it's going to be easily in the top 5. And I'm like, this book has been good for how many issues now, and
right.
All of a sudden when Whedon takes, not to, obviously it's a good reason to read the book, but, check out the book. Whedon's writing it because he loves it. So if he likes it and you like Whedon, then,
you should like the book.
That's right. Yeah. So it's kind of strange. Comics are weird in that way, where certain books just won't kick in for some reason, and it's kind of a weird deal, but...
Well, hopefully it kicks up the trade sales of when Whedon takes over, and then people will realize what they missed.
I bet it will. Plus, plus even those hardcovers. If anybody can grab those, the first hardcover was so nice, and there's a second one coming out now too, and even those digests, they're full color for like $8.
Yeah, 6 comics for $8 is hard to beat.
Yeah, and full color, it's awesome.
Well, fantastic. Well, thank you, Randy, for talking to us. We wish you the best of luck on on Randall, and I'll try. I promise I will try to remember to visit the website every Wednesday.
If you don't, it's all right. They'll be up there.
I really think I don't know. Maintaining an email list. There are services that you can get. They're called like Spark lists or whatever, and I think they might cost a couple dollars a month to maintain it, and then you can send out a group email whenever you want. And if you had an HTML formatted email that just linked the picture back to the strip on your website, that basically it would deliver the strip right to people's email boxes. And I gotta think that if someone said, hey, I want to subscribe to this, that would be such an easy way, because then they don't have to remember to go to the website. They can just see it.
Yeah, that does sound really good, actually.
And it's probably worth investigating, because it's, the URL is Lazy Comics. Well, I'm pretty lazy when it comes to webcomics, and so it would be much easier if I didn't have to. And I'm sure that it would be a really interesting experiment to see, numbers before an email list and then numbers after an email list. How many downloads your comic got?
Yeah. And plus, it's Lazy Comics with an X, which there's a Lazy Comics with a C, which I barely didn't get. It's like I checked it one day. Let me see if Lazy Comics is available, and it was. And then I sat on it for like 2 weeks, and then went back, and it was gone. I was so mad. I had to settle for the X, and the X is kind of cool now, but the Lazy Comics with the C, not having that, always kind of irked me. And now I don't even know what's there. It's a comic of some kind, but I'm not really sure what it is.
Well, you just have to check it, because they get renewed every year, and people let them go, and then you might be able to snatch it up, and then just have both of them.
I've been doing that, and then I think there's a way you can have both of them go to the same address, right?
Yeah. So. Oh, yeah. It's no problem. I mean, usually, I know, like, GoDaddy, if you register a domain name, it's like $7, and you can park it there for free, so you can redirect it to wherever you want. It's like $7 a year to have a second URL. That's not a big investment,
No, not at all. Well,
right.
Hopefully someday they'll bag whoever Lazy Comics with a C is. Will bag that operation.
Yeah.
In the meantime, the X brings across that indie vibe that you were talking about.
Yes, of course. Yeah, the R. Crumb.
That's right.
Lazy Comics with X, yeah.
Keep on trucking, man.
Yeah.
either that or a porn site then.
Yeah. That's actually funny. The porn site thing is I have it's a signature in my emails is the website, and I email editors at Marvel and stuff, working every day. And like one day I was like, hey, check out my website, just for the heck of it. And then she tried to go on and she couldn't get on, and it came up on the Marvel firewall. It said, it's something like adult sites are not allowed or something like that. It was just because there was an X.
Jeez. It's not like it was lazy comics with 3 X's.
Yeah, everybody's like goofing on me. What, do you got porn on your website? I'm like, yeah, it's naked comics. So.
All right, man. Well, good luck. And are you going to be? I know. I mean, it's not common for letterers, but are you going to do any convention appearances? Like maybe go to the New York Con or something?
I tried to do the New York Con. The tables are sold out already. They've been sold out for months.
Yeah, it's tough.
So I'm going to try and do Mocha in June.
Oh,
that would be.
That's an excellent show. Yeah.
Yeah, awesome show.
Cool, man.
All right, man.
Okay. Well, have a good night.
All right. Yeah. Thanks a lot, guys.
And we'll talk to you soon.
All right.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Chris Eliopoulos has got the little empire going there with his...
Yeah, actually, Randy up in New York came up to me because we had done that pixel strip. If you go all the way back to like last year, when we first encountered pixel strips, his was one of the ones I really, really liked. It was just neat the way he did it. He did it with like I said, picture backgrounds of all New York sites, and then he drew like himself in, or it was the person who was autobiographical self in, and it was just slice of life stuff, nothing fancy, but just really good stuff. And he actually came up to me in New York and gave me, he had put together a book with it, and he had signed it. He's like, thanks a lot for mentioning me and saying you really like me. So as soon as I heard New York Comics, I was like, oh, wait a second, I know this guy. And he's like I said, he's a talented guy. So definitely check this out.
Anybody read anything good recently?
I haven't had time to read anything.
I finished Pride of Baghdad.
Oh, you did? Okay.
And I really liked it. Yeah, I really did. So I think that book has major crossover appeal. That's a potential one that they could, really sell in, major bookstores to people who've never read a comic before in their life. I definitely think that's worth checking out. And it was beautiful too. The artwork is fantastic. It's, Brian K. Vaughan wrote it, and Nico. I have it sitting in the other room. I don't. I'm sorry. I apologize. I don't remember the name. I wasn't planning on talking about it. I just decided to throw it in. I mean, what else? I got Adam. Do you have that book there? Yes. I was so excited. I received the Marvel Encyclopedia from DK Books in my latest shipment.
Me too.
And if you've seen the DC one, this is just as beautiful as that. And it's laid out, exactly the same style and everything. So if you're a Marvel person, you should absolutely buy this book. If you're into the, having any kind of encyclopedia style thing, it's beautiful. So many characters in here that even as a Marvel fan, I'm like, who the heck is that guy? Like, there's one, Q-Nex. Who the hell is that?
It's an alien race, I think. I was looking at that myself earlier. I think they just needed an extra Q to fill out 2 pages.
Between Quicksilver and Quasar, is that what?
Mm-hmm. Quasimodo.
Man, there's a lot. There's so many people. Just
It was nice. Like you said, you got it in the DCBS shipment. I also got the 101. What was it? 101 Winter Nights, the Fables trade.
Oh yeah,
1001.
1001.
Don't sell it short now.
1001. Did
you read it yet?
I managed to take the cover off of it and page through it, and I was just sitting there going, ah.
Okay, yeah, I have that ordered. And I guess that's considered with a prequel sort of to the whole Fables story.
Yeah, because it supposedly takes place while they were still in still in Fableland, or still in the
Homeland.
Okay.
And
I'm waiting to get that.
Yeah, I also got. This was a nice one because I got a bunch of trades. Wound up getting the Phantom Stranger showcase.
Okay.
Oh, there's some gorgeous stuff in that. I love those old Phantom Stranger books. And
is that the Aparo artwork?
Some Aparo, some Neil Adams. Some real. I mean, it's like his first. I honestly believe it's his first appearance that they have in there, and it's really, really nice stuff. And what was the other one? Oh, I actually picked up a digest because everybody kept telling me how good, because everybody knows I'm a huge Avengers fan, and I hadn't been picking up the Marvel Avengers all age book.
Adventures.
The Marvel Adventures Avengers. So I finally saw that I guess they put the first one together, and I picked that up, and that was a lot of fun too. I've skimmed through like the first issue of that, and that was fun. It was one that I'll definitely recommend to kids, and like, nice to see Marvel doing stuff like that.
Yeah, I don't know. I was a dumbass when I did my order. I didn't order the Fables, and I don't know why. Because I've been reading all the Fables. I'm not quite caught up on the trades. I think I still have one more to get to be caught up. But so it's like for a history book, it's like, well, I've read issue 1, so I can read what happens before issue 1. So I don't know why I didn't order that. But it was a hardcover, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and again, that would have been so cool, but I guess I'll just end up waiting now, and when it's resolicited as a soft cover, or if I find it at a 50% off bin or something,
Yeah, because I honestly believe it was only like, for DCBS people, I think it was either 45 or 50% off, so it wasn't...
Yeah, that's what I mean. I don't even understand why...
Yeah.
I totally just had a brain fart, I guess, when I was doing my order, because afterwards I realized I didn't get it, and I was kicking my ass for it, but... Because then, well, in the newest previews that just came out, the first Jack of Fables trade is solicited. So it's like the whole Fables world just keeps turning, and I love it. So let's see here. I can do it. We're actually gonna call Uncle Sal. So it's time for an.
It's been a little while since we've had a little story time. So
wake the kids, phone the neighbors.
On second thought, don't wake the kids.
Put the kids to bed.
Well, it's my old Letterman expression.
And just sit back for hopefully some really funny hijinks that will ensue.
Hold on to your wigs and keys.
But, we're still actually right now recovering from the Halloween party last night, Shane's Halloween, which was.
Did I miss anything after I left?
The strippers came.
Oh God, jeez, I knew I should have hung around.
But we'll have hopefully by Monday or Tuesday we'll have pictures up on our Flickr section of the costumes, which were a lot of fun.
Look out!
And I won't tell you what they were, so you have to go and look at them.
Yes.
Sal, you there?
Yes, sir.
All right, welcome to the show.
How are you, gentlemen?
Very good.
Very good.
How are they treating you over there?
Oh, we're fine,
Same as usual.
Staying out of trouble?
No.
Oh.
How about you?
Oh, man. We on the air, or we just bullshitting?
No, we're on the air.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry. Oh.
The answer to that question...
I don't know with you guys, because you're always on, You're always like, you've got that Perry Como personality where you guys are always relaxed whenever you're talking.
That's right.
Good, man. Busier than a puppy with 2 Peters.
We all know how busy that is.
Did you do anything for any Halloween parties this weekend at all?
You want to know something? Not really. I just took over repping Bill Sienkiewicz. So
very cool.
I've been running around like a maniac trying to get a handle on that, and between Sienkiewicz and Alex Ross, I'm like the fat Baldwin brother now.
So you're on drugs?
No, but just working, trying to expand the business, trying to. It just seemed like a good thing to do at the time. I really wasn't sure if I could handle it, but when you get married, your life isn't your own anymore. So.
So when you say you're repping him, what you're?
Same thing I do for Alex, handle his original art sales, and then kind of field offers for what comes in terms of commissions and cover gigs. But he handles most of it himself. It would primarily be originals, all of his originals, art sales, like what I do for Alex.
Well, just set up a retainer for Kevin, and then he'll just take everything Sienkiewicz ever produces.
We'll work something out. He's a sweet guy, but yeah, he could take a while to do stuff at times.
So yeah, I mean, I thought you would have gone to a Halloween party as Atomica and just tucked between your legs and run around naked all night.
You want to know something? You don't want to. No, that's not a pretty sight. You don't want to see me running around naked. That's not a good scene. Especially at Halloween. In Chicago, we either get a lot of trick or treaters or we get nothing over here in the city now. We used to get a lot, but it's just once you turn the clock, back in the Midwest, it gets dark at like 2:30 now.
I'm too cheap to buy candy for the trick-or-treaters, so we just turn the porch light off.
Yeah, we don't get the trick-or-treaters we used to. And then you buy the candy and you wind up eating it all. So
yeah,
this time of the year in Chicago, it's not officially fall until you got the Puerto Ricans in my neighborhoods have the mattress tied to the roof of their car when they're, driving down the street moving. That's the sign of the fall. It's a big moving month in October.
Why is that?
I don't know. It's like leases are up, I guess, in October and in August. So in my neighborhood, there's just a lot of mattress tying on the roofs of cars.
Oh man,
it's a lot of fun.
So what have you been? You've been reading any good comics lately?
I've been, I've been trying to get ahead because we're trying this new thing with Atomica because I got behind because of the shows this summer. We're not going to solicit anything until I can get a couple of issues in the can. So I'm trying to finish up the second issue in the can before we solicit because so I've been trying to do that, and then I've been trying to I expanded my business. I took on a couple of more guys to rep, and reading comics. Not really, man. I gotta go pick up comics because my local comic store, the pile keeps getting higher, and they get pissed at me. So.
Yeah, we've had a lot of discussions about it on the air, and owners of comic shops hate that.
I try, I tell them, I always tell them not to pull, I take stuff off my pull list, but then I go there and they're still pulling stuff that I asked them, not to pull a million times, and they seem to do it anyway, and I always feel bad when I go in there and there's like back issues of, like McFarlane when he was drawing Spider-Man in there, and I'm like, oh, you guys pulled this for me, huh? Previews when like Jack Kirby was still drawing and he's in previews. Like, oh yeah, I got to pay for all this, huh? I started, I like Moon Knight a lot. It's just kind of I like the art, but the storyline is just I don't know where it's going, ripping people's faces off and stuff. And I read that. Let me see. In case Alex is listening, I read Justice.
You mean you don't get free copies of that?
Doing. I heard the new Jonah Hex is really good. That's what I was talking with Alex yesterday, and he highly recommended the new Jonah Hex.
Yeah, that
is good.
Everyone we talk to likes it.
Yeah. So Jimmy doesn't have to go back to making sandwiches?
No, I think he's safe now.
He's safe for a while?
Yeah.
Okay.
Did we talk to you since Baltimore? I guess not, huh?
You got me on the pay no mind list,
Oh, yeah, right.
We haven't talked on the air, I think, since...
Right after San Diego.
Yeah, right. Maybe the whole San Diego thing.
How was Baltimore for you?
It was okay. I don't want to get into the... It sucked. It was not good. I mean, it's a great city, and the guys that run the show are nice, but the show itself was slow. But the retailer thing was fantastic. You stay after for the retailer conference.
The diamond thing.
It was good.
Well, that's good.
That's very, very productive. But the show itself, being in Baltimore for 5 days or 6 days, whatever it was, it just got to be too much because at the end of the con season, I just didn't really have the time to. I would have loved to have hung out, as much as I did, but I just always felt like I needed to get back,
And you can only eat so many crab cakes before you've had enough, right?
Yeah, I can only go to so many Orioles games. I think I went to like 4 Orioles games.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, I got to, because there's nothing else to do. I mean, no offense to people of Baltimore, but when you're staying in that part of town, there's not much to do in that part of town except go to a ball game.
Yeah. Just our luck the Yankees were in town at the time.
Yeah,
so.
And it was the beginning of the football season, so
Yeah.
me and we were hanging out with Michael Turner and this guy Frank and the guy Chris that works with me. So the 4 of us went to ESPN and we're watching a lot of football. And productive.
Yeah, I was gonna say every time I seem to walk by your booth, you were packing up to go to a ball game. So I knew your heart wasn't in that one.
Well,
that
no,
much.
I mean, they're not there to see me. I mean, I'm there and I touch base with everybody. But then, I was next to Mark Wade, and then and so they got that all going on, and they're there to see Adam Hughes, and they're there to see those guys. So if I sit and nobody, Sunday that was nothing for me. So if I sit for more than like an hour and do nothing, I could do that at home. So I just said, you know what, there's not going to miss me if I leave. So I said, I'm just going to pack up and go catch a game.
Hey,
which is like the only con I've ever done that at. I stick it out. If there's people, or even if there's 2 people, I'll stay. But if there's nobody there, then I just say, hey, you know what? Let me go.
I got my sketch from him on Saturday, so
Yeah.
I'm very happy.
Yeah, I'm happy to do that stuff. But
thank you very much for that. I got
there's
the
nobody
Batwoman, of
really
course.
there on Sunday.
Yeah, I wouldn't know. I had to leave.
Yeah, how's the baby?
The baby's okay, It's a baby.
Yeah.
She keeps us, busy. She's actually
Going all right.
she's a terrible, terrible baby.
Yeah.
Yeah, if she's awake, she cries, and
There's
then
something about baby shit, man. I'm telling you. I got a zillion nephews, and there's something that happens between the mouth and the ass when a baby shits. I don't know what it is, man, but it's they should drop those things in Afghanistan. They'll come out with their hands up. You drop a diaper pail. It's just there's something about that. All that strained food you feed them.
I don't know. I have not been relegated to diaper duty yet.
You're not on the. Well, my wife and I were trying, whatever that means. When they say, well, we're officially trying, I don't know the difference. I don't know. I just tell her just do whatever it is you got to do, and one day I'll see something run across the floor, and I'll go, hey, when did we have a kid? That kind of thing.
You'll know the difference when after you've been trying for X number of months and nothing's happening, and she starts to get crazy, because then she'll rape you, and then you'll know the difference between trying.
Well, no, I get all these. I got this list. You got to wear a certain kind of underwear, which I don't have a problem, because there's really, I'm getting to the point where I'm gonna have to start wearing muumuus anyway. So I got that going on, and then they tell you, well, you got to do this, and then she starts breaking into my hobbies, which she says is no masturbating. So I said, well, that's not a good thing. That's on my resume. It's part of, my favorite part of masturbation is the cuddling afterwards.
Right.
You're supposed to let the sperm count build up. And I said, well, shit, I've been doing that since puberty, so don't worry about it.
Well, I know. I feel you on that, Mark, there, my friend.
Married life is... she's going to listen to this, so it's great. No, it's harder, because you're used... When you're a failure on your own, it's okay. But when you get married, now you've got a witness to all your bullshit. So you have to kind of worry more about, they don't get to see only the cool side of you. You got to show them all that stuff. So it's harder,
Yeah, we're just not enjoying life right now because
it's just a lot of work.
Well, she's like I said, she's like the world's worst baby. If she's awake, she's crying, and then she likes
Sounds
to
like
sleep.
Alex.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Yeah. No, I'm kidding.
She likes to sleep during the day and then not at night, and and it's
well that's just the first 6 months, and then they calm down, or
it changes. I mean, she was doing 3 and 4 hour clips, which was great at night, and then the last 3 nights she hasn't slept at all, and so I'm like a zombie today.
Wow.
So yeah, last night I was pretty much ready to just drop her off at the fire department. The little anonymous ring the bell and drive away, because you don't.
Sure.
They don't press charges if you leave them at a safe place like that. So
it's like what happened with the penguin. You just drop them off. You put them in a basket, and maybe like the royal family will pick them up or something.
Exactly. I'll send her to Madonna. She'll be well taken care of.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. So
you sound like you sound a little red ass today. Lack of sleep will do that to you.
Yeah, it was. Well, last night we had our Halloween party, and so I didn't get home until 3:45. And as soon as I walk in, the baby starts crying. So I tried to put her down by 4:30. I thought I had her asleep, and then I was in bed for 15 seconds. She starts crying again. I get up
screaming. Yeah.
I didn't get to bed until 6 o'clock.
What is she? Is it food or is it just crying?
She's just miserable. Yeah. She's like, I'll cry. That's what I do. I'm going to cry.
Right.
And then I'm going to cry some more.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then I'm going to look at you and laugh and then cry some more because you're not sleeping.
Now, were you guys? Were you planning a family, or were you guys just got drunk at a Leonard Skinner concert?
It was an encore of Freebird. We couldn't contain
Molly
ourselves.
Hatchet, or
No, it was planned.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I don't know why, but it was planned.
I don't know. I mean, because my wife, women, it's like they work at levels that Doc Doom and Red Skull only fantasize about. Right. They're like arch criminals. They think of they've got it all laid out in a way that it's like walking in a dark room and tripping over a guillotine. By the time you hear that sound, it's too late. She's already got us. We've been looking for, because when you get married, you got two of everything, except the ability to make decisions for yourself. That goes away. But I have my place in the city, and she has her place out in the suburbs. So we're looking for one place for the both of us. And so what happens is, it turns into, well, is this a good school district? And I'm with that. They start asking the real estate people, and I'm like, what the hell are you talking about? School district? They're thinking when the kid is already old enough to go to school. Me, I worry about what I'm going to eat today. That's it.
Yeah.
That's as far as I'm premeditated. She's hanging around with Kang and Ultron, worrying about where the kid's going to go to school.
So she's like the Enchantress, I guess?
Yeah, no, much worse. This is those. She's one of those women. When you get married, they're those 4-issue villains. Where oh shit, we're gonna have to go get somebody to help us. Like, let me wonder if Surfer's doing anything. That kind of thing. They're dangerous.
There's got to be a team up somewhere along the line to take care
they're
of her.
very, very dangerous. You got to be careful. When you decide to get married, you better be ready for. You better be ready to put the gloves on every once in a while.
I'm just here laughing because I remember a certain someone who said, "Oh no, this baby's not going to change our life.
Well,
we're gonna keep going, and it's going." And
But it hasn't. I mean, were we not at the Halloween party last night? Was I not hanging out? You know what I mean? Like, we're still podcasting.
No, it hasn't. I mean, you haven't stopped doing some things you're doing, but it is affecting you in ways that I didn't think you were.
No, but that's a huge difference between. Yeah, okay.
Let me ask you this: would it be different if it was a boy? And I don't want to come across the wrong way, because we whether we admit it or not, we want boys.
Oh no! Well, Tasha and I both wanted a boy.
Oh, okay.
And there was no question that we were happy and sad at the same time. And it's like
Sure.
well, you get what you get and you move on. But
right.
Yeah, we wanted a boy. That was not never. We never hid that.
Right. Well, I just go with the flow. It's like I got the built-in excuse now. Oh well, we got to work.
Oh darn! We have to have sex again? Oh come on!
Yeah, right. It's,
You'd be surprised.
I love when they put you on a schedule.
Yeah.
Like, well, listen, what happened to
Romance.
just those accidental pregnancies? Well, what happened to all that stuff?
Right.
Where all those warnings I used to get in high school. Now they got to put you on a schedule. You got to keep your balls a certain temperature. Forget about it.
It's so true.
Yeah. What this is? These are the 2 days that we're supposed to. And I'm like, well, I'm not real good at schedules. That's why it took me, 12 years to get out of high school. It's like, no, it doesn't work like that. Second period, your balls need to be 62 degrees. Listen, let me take care of the temperature of my balls and leave me alone. I mean, once you hit, you guys aren't there yet, but you'll see. Once you hit 40, your balls look like the chin of an old Chinaman anyway. So.
See, what you have to do is you have to go full around in the backseat of a car. That's what
you
happens.
stand at the urinal and your balls hit the water when you're after 40.
I'm right there, man. I'm right there.
Well, then you know what I'm talking about.
Oh yeah.
So all that sex talk and all that don't work. That doesn't cut it anymore. You just kind of know. You meet in the middle and say, okay, listen, I gotta, basically, it works more as like it's a sedative at this point. I just try to find, there's no space between an orgasm and a snore in my life. The same sound I make to come is a snore, because I'm just right into snoring right away. It's like this. It's like this. Out. That's it. And I mean out like Janis Joplin out. Not out like just like, what? Well, what happened? Out like, you wake up the next day and it's spring. I wake up and Charlton Heston's in my yard on a horse with apes chasing him. That's how long I've been asleep. I'm sorry. I'll be serious. I'm sorry, guys.
No, that's all right. We're just catching our breath right now.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Oh, Lordy.
You know, when you're younger, you're working on technique, and now when you get married, you're like the one-man band. You got to squeeze this, grab that, rub this, foot here, finger here, arm here. Rub this with your elbow. You're like, Jesus Christ, what happened? It's like building a fucking model airplane. I'm sorry. Who in the room did I insult when they got up and left? I always start out hearing a lot of voices, and then halfway through, I don't hear anybody anymore.
No, we can't talk. We're laughing that hard.
On the floor.
Do you know what I'm talking about, or am I crazy?
Oh, no, right there with you. It doesn't get any easier.
It doesn't get any easier. You really got that's. Thank God we're the hunters and we've got work.
That's right.
And I that's why when I start talking to Sienkiewicz, I was like, more work? Yes, sure, fine, let's go.
Now, you said you got two other guys. I mean, who were the other two guys?
I took on Claudio Castellini.
Okay.
Which is the Castellini in Italian means doesn't work. He's like just. You won't find a better artist, but I don't know what the story is with the guy. He's always in between something or someone.
Okay.
And Simone, who's doing Wolverine.
Okay.
And so I'll be handling him, and I started handling him about a year ago. And his stuff, he does really well. He does a lot of covers for DC, and now he's doing Wolverine.
Mm-hmm.
He's going to keep doing stuff at Marvel, so he just signed a contract over there. So we'll see. It's just a lot of work. I haven't figured out a way to bring somebody in to help me because I don't know how to do that. So
are you going to be doing that all at shows, or is it
trade show? Well, yeah. This year's weird because I'm not doing any shows until the New York show in February.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not doing Mid Ohio or any of that. And then I'm doing Art Expo, which is the week right after New York. So I'll be in New York for 2 weeks.
Wow.
And then I don't really have anything planned. But I'll do a couple shows in the spring probably, and then nothing until San Diego. Which, believe it or not, we've already started planning. So
Well, I can believe it.
yeah, it's gotten that bad. So are you guys going to be the convention whores again this year, or are you just kind of...
So far we're starting. New York is starting to come together, I guess, for us.
I think we're cutting back this year, though. We can't quite afford all those conventions this year, but we're probably going to mix it up a little bit.
Yeah, that's a great idea because then it doesn't get monotonous.
Yeah, I think the ones we're definitely going to hit Pittsburgh because it's close, and we'll probably definitely do Baltimore again because it's close.
Yeah.
And but other than that, I think a couple people are going to try to make Heroes Con because only Peter got to Heroes Con last year.
Well, what am I, chopped liver?
Oh, that's right. You did go to Heroes Con.
I drove him down there.
Oh, that's right. I'm sorry.
And yes, you are.
Are you guys going to start? You guys start fighting, or what's going on?
Yeah, have a little domestic dispute.
Yeah.
Let's forget the new guys here.
And we might try to make Toronto or something.
Awesome.
Yeah, I think.
And now the one in September. No offense to the other guy, because I've done the one in the spring, and it's nice, and he has some big names. But if you can only afford to do one or the other, and this is, I don't know if you know the whole soap opera behind this, but these two guys hate each other, and they're going at each other's throats, and there's a whole big bad scene in Toronto. There's like this little Crips and Bloods thing going on with the comic shows. And I do the one in September, the beginning of September, and now that rubs some people the wrong way. Because the guy who has his show in the spring, he's a sweet guy. He invited me out a couple years ago, actually last year when I first started Atomica. But of the two shows, I have to say the one in September is bigger. It's the one this year that had Leonard Nimoy and Shatner, and it's at the big convention center, and it's right downtown. So
cool. Yeah. So that's. And Jamie, you want to try to get to Chicago, right?
I definitely want to try to hit Chicago.
Yeah, I'm like you guys. I got to pull back. I really got behind the 8 ball with my book and with business and a book. I really got behind the 8 ball doing too many shows, and so I have to kind of only do the bigger ones, and we're really Alex was really upset about what happened with us at Chicago this year, so he doesn't want me to do any Wizard shows this year, so we're not going to do any Wizard shows this year. Not that they're going to, I'm going to go to probably Chicago with Atomica, but now with Alex, and not that Wizard's going to, close their doors because we're not there. But we thought, hey, it's not going to kill us to take a year off. We're still going to do all the other shows.
Now, I don't know. I mean, I've been hearing a lot of people who have been, for various reasons, dissatisfied with Wizard conventions. Mm-hmm. And I think this year could be a make or break year for them. Like, especially like the Philly show, it's the same weekend as Heroes Con. Yeah. And, just like the thing last year with the proposed Atlanta Heroes Con debacle thing, and all the artists supported Heroes Con, and I bet they're probably going to do the same thing again. And
I don't know how much you do or don't want to go into this stuff. I could tell you a lot of stuff from personal account, and I got to tell you, we were treated, well, not only us, but we're kind of mid to lower mid tier exhibitors, but they screwed over. Talking about Chicago now, they screwed over DC, they screwed over Aspen. They screwed over Bob Chapman over at Graffiti. They pushed a lot of exhibitors that have been setting up with them for a lot of years out of the way for Garib's fighting thing. That's his new investment, that Ultimate Fighting League. You saw the ring that was there. That's his new thing. And I don't know how invested. Plus, there was a lot of empty booths at Chicago. Now, granted, I'll cut him some slack because it was the same weekend as Lollapalooza, which was in Chicago. There were 4 Cub games that weekend, and there were a lot of street fairs that weekend. So attendance was down. I don't care what Wizard says in their numbers. It was down. Wizard's notorious for doctoring their numbers of saying they count 4 people. They count 3-day attendance. They count those 3 people. They count that same person who came all 3 days as 3 people. They don't count it as one person. They pissed a lot of us off, and I spoke with DC and I spoke with other people who said that they were really, really upset. DC's response to us when we told them they were upset was just kind of to shrug their shoulders and go, oh well. So, again, if I was gonna, I love Philly, but if I'm gonna do Philly this year, I'm gonna go to Charlotte, just because they have to, understand you can't treat people badly, and some people only understand when you hit them where they live, which is financially. The only way a restaurant's going to know if the food sucks is you just don't go back, So we're really kind of at odds at Wizard, and I'm not the only one who's at odds. I talked to a lot of people at Baltimore, and I'm not going to speak for them, but I talked to a few big people that are going to talk about what you guys are doing and possibly doing other shows instead of Wizard. And, the guy, they put Stewart into an impossible situation. When Brenda Cook left, she was the one that ran the cons. Brenda was aces. She knew how to run shows. Now, they put Stu in there. Stu'd fuck up a 2-car funeral. He doesn't know what he's doing. I mean, and it's not all his fault, because he even admitted to me at San Diego, I don't know what I'm doing, Sal. So he put us right in the middle of a beam. We had a beam going down the center of our booth. And so it was a bad situation where I said, look, guys, I've been setting up with you for a lot of years. Why are we, I even talked to Garib about it. Garib was using my couch at San Diego to hold some of his meetings in, And I said, Garib, why are you guys treating us so poorly? And he said, I have nothing to do with it. I can't help you. And I'm thinking, well, you're either full of shit or you're lying, because it's your company. You can't say, hey, take care of Alex's booth. So it was a bad, bad situation. That's all I could say. But I don't want to talk about it.
I think the presence of the New York Con is really shifting the whole landscape of conventions.
I hope so. I hope so, guys. I mean, I just get the impression, and I'm not bad-mouthing Wizard, although I don't, like what's going on at the shows. Their focus is not on comics anymore. Their focus. I mean, you look at the program for Chicago. I mean, look at what they're focusing on. They're focusing on that damn fighting league, and the movie star guys, the old movie star guys, and look at who they invited. Casada, he's coming anyway. Mike Turner, he's coming anyway. He's an exhibitor. Kevin Smith does those shows anyhow. So they really, who was their guest of honor was Loeb. They don't go after the big name guys anymore because that costs money. The Toronto show, for God's sakes, 2 weeks afterwards, had Leonard Nimoy, had Shatner, had Alice Cooper, had Jim Lee, had a hell of a lot more impressive guest list than Chicago had. So.
Well, because what's a comic convention without Alice Cooper?
Well, you know what I'm just saying that those guys cost money.
Right? No, I'm just
Alice
saying.
Cooper's not showing up for nothing. I mean, Lord, even though nobody was at his table, it was ironic because he's got this huge ego and nobody gave two shits about Alice Cooper. But I just get the impression that if you look at the magazine too, it's getting more like Maxim. You know, they're putting, you know, not that I have anything against naked girls, but they have more naked chicks on the cover now than they have, you know, Chap Yap covers.
It'll be
they
really
suck, guys. They suck. Okay, there, I said it.
No, Sal, what do you really think? Come on.
I could tell you. I don't want to speak for people, but I could tell you people that are definitely trying not to go to Wizard shows from now on.
Yeah, I mean that's the impression we've gotten from a lot of people we've spoken to, and I think when after New York comes and goes this year, and if it goes smoothly and it's a roaring success, then you know. I just think that's really going to become
fantastic.
It's going to become the East Coast San Diego, you know, a few more years.
I hope so. I really think that it's going to be a much better thing this year. I really do. I think it's going to surpass last year, and I think, hey, you know, fingers crossed. You know, bad weather would probably be the only thing that would hurt us, but even then, I think we'll be great. Of course, granted, it's February, so you know
they have they got that whole upper side of the convention center, the bigger side, and they also have an area of the convention center, I guess, called the Galleria. That's where Artist Alley is, and we're going to be up there in this podcast area.
Right.
So it's like two whole sections of the convention center. So it's
and they don't know how to respond to San Diego. I mean, they don't know what to make of San Diego, because what I love about San Diego is San Diego also will. They won't rent a booth to anybody. You know, they won't. You can't just go in there and say, "Hey, I sell aluminum siding and I want to rent a booth." They'll do that at Wizard because we had guys that sell mats, wrestling mats, set up next to me, and I'm like, "Hey guys, I'm trying to sell paintings here, and I got a guy selling wrestling mats who used to be a gym teacher with his two lesbian helpers, you know, set up right next to me trying to sell mats." And so I'm like, "Okay, if you'll just," and then they had the poker guys. The poker.com people behind us. So, you know, it's like one of those things where, again, I'm not a Boy Scout, obviously, but if you're going to these shows with kids and they got the hoochie mamas, you know, there's that kind of weird parallel.
Right. Yeah, I think New York didn't have any of the, well, in fact, we spoke to the organizer and they didn't allow the, porn alley or whatever.
There's limitations now, you know, of what you can and can't do.
I like that.
You can't have those.
And they didn't seem to have any trouble selling the booze. No one can get any.
No, I mean, here's the bit. Well, and again, I heard it from the horse's mouth, but we'll see. I've heard this many years. Is that Artist Alley's getting kicked upstairs this year at San Diego?
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's what they told me. But I don't know, you know, if I've heard that in years past. But that pavilion, it's gotten so bad at San Diego, so big that. A couple years ago, had you told me this, I would have thought it would have been a death rattle. You know, it's bad for business for people in Artist Alley. But it's gotten so insane, the upstairs, you know, underneath the tents. I don't know if you guys had a chance to get up there.
Yeah, a little bit, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's nice up there. I mean, it's a lot more space, that's for sure. Granted, it is outside, even though you're under tents. But they can expand Artist Alley, you know, tenfold if they wanted to up there. Now, is it going to affect their business? Well, maybe. You know, but I still think it's going to be a zoo. I mean, you saw how it was this year. I mean, it was.
Yeah, I'd much rather see that up there because just to be able to try to talk to some of those people,
and to be able to expand it,
yeah,
make have more tables. You know,
you just couldn't. You were tripping over people to get to them. Was a 20-minute walk when it should have taken you 5.
But to see the problem is that so many for business, so many people have a hard time just seeing the main hall, much less making it upstairs.
True.
You know, so I'm more, their artists are going to be jumping up and down saying, hey, it's going to affect our business. But again, they pay nothing for those tables. So they can't really complain all that much. You know, I mean, San Diego has said for years, hey, look, we can rent out all this space and make money with this stuff you guys get it for free, and you're complaining. So we doubled for next year. We're going to have 10 booths for next year. That's how crazy it's got.
Holy mackerel.
Yeah. So, I went in and said, look, I want to double our size, and I think if you're going to really, blow your wad, I think that's the show to do it in.
God, you're going to be as big as DC next year.
I don't know. Well, I think based on, some of these clowns that I'm dealing with, it's, well, here's something you'll like. No, I got the, I'm gonna have the booth babes too, so that'll work out better.
Damn it! The one year I'm not going, and you're gonna have hot women.
Yeah, well.
All I got to see was you this year.
Yeah, that's not good.
No.
And the guys you think I'm not attractive? The guys that work for me are less attractive. So it's okay.
I wasn't gonna bring them into it.
Well,
Well, there you go. Sal, hire Jamie to work the show.
I'll be more than happy to come out.
Working them damn shows, it's like this was the first year that I hate to say this, but I had no fun at all. I mean, it used to be 50-50, work, play, and then it was 60-40, and then now it's like maybe 5%, where I can actually go out and, have a good time. The rest of the time, it's just all work now at that show. It's gotten crazy.
Yeah, you looked a little frazzled every time we saw you.
Well, there's no sleep is what it is. You don't get any sleep. You got to be there. I got to be at the booth every morning at 7:30 to set up, to start pulling out all the artwork, and and it just you go to bed at 3 in the morning, and I always with Simone, which is like a 3-year-old on crack, and that guy's staying with you, and he doesn't bathe, so he smells like Dr. Zayas from Planet of the Apes. So it just gets to be where, I need to get my own room this year. I'm going to be like, Tom Jones. Hey, guys, you got to get your own room. I'm sorry, Remember this conversation, because when spring comes and they ask, I always go, oh, sure, you can crash with me, no problem.
Yeah. Well, we'll play it back to you. I'll send it to you in email once a week.
Yeah, no, I always say that. And then I brought my nephew this year, and then, he's running around, playing Rob Lowe, and, out the mini bar like I'm stupid. And, See, I'm not as dumb as I look. See, I just because I don't say anything doesn't mean I didn't see it. But I just go, oh, who cares? Clean out the mini bar. I don't care. Go ahead.
Alex is playing for it anyway, so.
Yeah, well, you said it. I didn't. Well, how you guys been? You getting ready for the holidays? Because they start after next week. We start hearing the soundtrack from the Peanuts Christmas special pretty soon.
Yeah, I know. You go into those stores and those freaking Christmas carols are playing 24/7. I can't stand that.
They used to wait till Thanksgiving, and now it's the day after Halloween they start. Where we're inundated. And I live in the city, so it's just Chicago is just unmanageable from the week, from right around Thanksgiving till like the week after New Year's. It's insane.
Well, Adam here works at his family runs a series of Christmas stores. Mm-hmm. So the poor guy's stuck there all year long.
Yep, over the summer we got only 5 Christmas CDs that we listened to 3 times every day. So in the summer we hear those things a couple hundred times.
Yeah. My wife's a big Christmas gal, so I just kind of go along with it, I grew up in a big family, so, we had the Christmas thing. It's nice, but it's, it's so damn cold in Chicago in the wintertime that,
Well, I love Christmas. I just hate Christmas carols. That's all. So.
I'm a big eggnog guy. You know what else I like, although it's not connected, I don't know why, is Shamrock Shakes.
Yeah. Well, they make eggnog shakes around the holidays.
Do they? Yeah, well, Starbucks has got that eggnog latte, but that stuff, you get shit stains in your underwear when you drink too many of those damn things. They just leak. They're like skylights. They never quite get that seal right when you drink an eggnog latte.
Hey, I want to thank you, Sal, for sponsoring episode 200, being one of our sponsors.
Always my pleasure.
It's going to be a good time that day.
Yeah, that's pretty much what we're really gearing up for.
What do you guys now? How's that going to work? What are you guys going to have? You going to have?
We have. Well, we've turned to. We're having it at our local comic store, which is actually a pretty large store, and it's like an all-day event. We're going to be recording for several hours, but the rest of the time is just going to be milling about like convention style. We have Mike Norton coming in to doing sketches for people, and Scott Neely, an artist who does Scooby-Doo, is going to be there, and Chuck Satterley, writer for Marcosia, is going to be there, and just a whole
Satterley, huh?
Yeah.
Satterley likes to talk shit about me on this show. I noticed that about Chuck. So here's what kills me about Chuck. And I saw him in Baltimore, and I love Chuck. I'm just kidding. You won't meet a sweeter guy than Chuck. But he's like, oh, that Sal's got a mouth on him. Boy, he doesn't ever stop saying... And then he goes on and swears for 2 hours.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
So he plays Mr. Rogers about me, and then he turns around and he's like swearing like a maniac. So I don't know what he's talking about.
But yeah, that's the deal. So people are just going to be milling about and hanging
where's the
out.
store? In Pittsburgh?
No, in Reading.
In Reading.
Yeah. It's, where we live.
Yeah.
Why would we go to Pittsburgh?
I don't know. Where did I get you guys? I always get the impression you're like right next to Pittsburgh.
No,
Philly.
we're right next to Philly.
Philly, okay. Because whenever we talk about the Pittsburgh show, you talk about it like you guys are right there.
No, it's only 4 hours. I mean, it's,
Oh, okay. That's right. Okay.
it's easily doable in a weekend.
Yeah. I don't know any. What do I know?
Yeah.
Half the time, I don't know where I'm going. I'm just trying to keep my dick hard in a cruel world. What can I say?
So your Bears are doing all right.
The Bears are doing okay, man. But it's like it's the middle of the season, so you can't get too excited. You got to see what happens. But yeah, it looks good. It's a Bears town. I mean, even though with the Cubs and the Sox and the Bulls and all that, it's really not. They'll jump on the bandwagon. White people in Chicago will jump on anything when they win, but it's really a Bear town.
Mm-hmm.
So the Bears, as the Bears go, as goes Chicago. But again, long way to go.
Yeah, I keep saying that because my Eagles keep losing now.
Yeah,
so,
you know what happened to the Eagles?
I don't know.
I
didn't get to watch this week's game. I was somewhere else, but damn it, those
They
last
lose again.
Yeah, they lost.
They lost again. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the last two games were like last second field goals, and Christ, one of them was 62 yards. So you got to give it to the guy for hitting that one. But this game, I have to watch some of the highlights and read some of the papers to find out what the hell happened this one.
But that's what they do.
Thank God for football when you live east of the Mississippi. Thank God,
Mm-hmm.
Because it's like we really, we enjoy our football.
Definitely.
My wife doesn't. I've tried to explain it to her, and it's always an argument. 4 chances to go 10 yards, and she's a forensic scientist, and she can't figure that out. So there's probably guys in jail that probably right now should, should rethink it.
Hey, so does she watch CSI?
Face it. You really want to piss her off just when you see her ask her about CSI. That's what everybody asks her.
Well, I'm just
asking.
asking.
Why am I so fat? They ask her, hey, do you watch CSI?
Well, I asked it because I suspect that most of the stuff on that show is complete BS. Or
it is.
If it's real, it's only there's no single forensics lab in the country that has all of that equipment.
That's pretty much what it is. She said that no one has those computers. They've got computers that are 10 years old, and no one has all that state-of-the-art stuff you see. That doesn't exist. And if it does, even the feds don't have it.
Right.
So she said that's the big bullshit part about it. The one thing she has told me about is that never sit on bedspreads in hotel rooms because they're just covered with semen.
Right.
Because every time they send her a bedspread, to put the blue light on, how they put those blue lights on to find the semen, she says you turn it on and the whole bedspread's closed.
Right. Oh, that's so gross.
Right? So every time we're at a hotel, she's like, oh, no, don't sit on the bedspread. I'm like, oh, God, I don't care. What am I going to catch that I haven't already had? Please. Please. Leave me alone. I'm like, you put toothpicks in the toilet at my house, the crabs will pole vault, so don't worry about it.
She must have interesting.
Don't sit on the bedspread. It's like, come on. If I can't, I still pick up. If I drop it, if they got the 5-second rule, I still pick it up and eat it. To my wife, everything's a biohazard. Oh, you shouldn't do. I'm like, oh God, who cares?
Now, she must have. She must come home with some interesting stories from some days.
It's pretty bad. She only gets the worst of the worst. So she knows what's possible. So it's a good and a bad thing. She really sees the horrendous side of what goes on. So it can be. She's got some interesting stories.
Does she work for the Chicago Police
She's
Department?
an Illinois State Crime Lab.
Oh, the state. Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
So she
Interesting.
works with the feds, and she handles a lot of that. So she worked on some of the 9/11 stuff, and it was
Wow,
The next question is what the hell she's doing with you, but
I was gonna say, obviously your criminal past has been locked up somewhere.
I was. She was on the jury probably when I was,
Did she
one of my indictment case,
Did she remove your DNA from the system?
That's pretty much. That's what. Well, not only that, I got to be careful if I ever cheat or anything. She could put my sample into like half the crimes in the state of Illinois.
Oh.
Yeah, you don't want that.
Yeah, so I got to be careful. You go to these Christmas parties and they're all cops, and I get along real well with those guys,
But wait, this doesn't make any sense. It says you were murdering someone at the same time you were raping someone. How is that even possible?
Right.
Well, he's very tricky.
Yeah.
Your semen is suddenly in the 1950s. How did that get there?
I kidnapped the Lindbergh baby.
That's right.
That's what my wife, because when you get a woman pissed off, it's like forget about it. Look out. I go to we go grocery shopping now, and it takes 3 hours. I'm like, can we just go?
Oh my gosh. All right, Sal. Well, thank you for talking to us.
What happened to did you have a mutiny on your hands? I mean, not that I don't like talking to you guys, but last time I talked there was like 40 guys over there.
No, well, Rios has his
play practice.
Yeah, his practice for the musical that he's in.
Yeah.
And Monday's his only day off, so.
Right.
So he couldn't be here tonight, and Kevin
He's
goes on.
finishing the last three volumes of Backdoor Bonanza that he rented.
Yeah,
Wasn't
no.
it so bad? There's a late charge on Mondays. You got to get them back Sunday night. That's how they get you. The Korean by my house who has this video store, you go, how the hell does this guy make any money? Because the Blockbuster's like the mafia. They got late charges for shit that I rented in kindergarten, right?
Right.
So you go in there, and he's got like 20 movies, and you go, how does this guy rent it? And then he's got this curtain, like this Aladdin curtain or little bubbles on it, or it used to be a sheet for like his kid's bed. And you push the curtain aside, and it's like that scene at the end of Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Right, yeah.
Of just porn. Just a wall of porn. And if you accidentally slip into the gay stuff, you get that jump, that jolting reaction. So then I told the guy, you need to put an orange cone to separate the gay from the regular porn.
Or at least a light, some kind of flashing light.
Something where like spikes come up or darts shoot me in the ass or something.
Or you fall into a snake pit.
This guy, it's just all about and it's like there's no way the mom and pop video stores can compete anymore with the big guys. It's got to be about porn.
Yeah, I actually used to work at a local video store, and that was what kept us in business.
Yeah.
It was guys coming in renting.
Peter.
Well, yeah.
Yeah. He's got to get back those 3 issues of Shaving Ryan's Privates.
Foreskin Gump.
Right. That's right. He's got to get China Nookie back before Monday morning, otherwise it's $3.95. And the one over by me, he sells sex toys too, right? So he's got a plastic fist in there. So I think to myself, okay, now not only are you pathetic enough that you want somebody to put a fist in your ass, but now you need a plastic fist. So how bad is that?
Oh, Lord.
I'm sorry, guys.
Oh, that's fine.
We just fell right into
Plastic fists.
More people are editing their podcast right at this point.
Well, who does editing? Editing's for the weak.
Yeah. But how's it going? How's the show going? Continuing to grow? Everything's good?
Yeah, everything is going great. I mean, for episode 200, Sal, we have people. We have someone coming in from Texas, someone in from California, and someone coming in from the UK.
Very cool.
So, I think...
You guys having drawings or anything? Let me know. I'll send you some stuff,
Well, yeah, we have a whole bunch of door prizes that we're, going to be giving away every half an hour or something. So if you want to send something, I'm sure everybody would love to.
But you guys will keep it anyway. It's okay.
Oh, you've given us all the stuff you have anyway, so we don't need any more stuff.
If Peter can dupe me 2 copies of those 2 issues of Backdoor Bonanza, I'll send you some.
We'll see what we can do.
he emails me, and I'm like, and then at the end of the email, he's like, "Oh, but I'm not going to be on the show. I don't want to talk to you." And I'm thinking, well, what the hell is this? You know?
Yeah, he's too busy prancing around. Actually, right now he's on the bus on the way home, but and couldn't get back early enough.
He's a big shot. You know?
Yeah. I mean, he's living down there now. They got housing for him and the whole bit.
You know, he's choreographing the play, right?
No, he's just one of the. He's actually a chorus member this time around.
Oh, okay, 42nd Street, right?
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Okay. He's one of the boys in the chorus.
Gotcha.
And he's given himself a name. What do you say? He's going to be Sal Bianchi. Is that his name?
Yeah, Sal Bianchi, because he's supposed to play an Italian guy. So.
Yeah, you see who that's named for too.
So now there's the whole racial thing going on, and if I said one thing about Hispanics, he gets all pissed off. Pride of San Juan Hill over there gets mad at me.
Holy. Well, you did make the Puerto Rican thing comment in the beginning.
Listen,
so
you come to my neighborhood, there's two things that happen. And people get mad at me. I'm like, guys, I grew up in an all Puerto Rican neighborhood, so I'm not, I'm too stupid to be racist. That's all I grew up with in the city. But come to my neighborhood, and any guy you see driving down the street with a mattress, stop him, and they say, "Hey, what's your name?" And he'll say, "I know Peter, I'm a Puerto Rican." I'm telling you. How do I know they're Puerto Rican? Because they got the Puerto Rican flag duct taped on the roof of their car. That's how I know.
Right, yeah.
Puerto Rican Independence Day around here is like the 4th of July. But I love him. Angel Medina's Puerto Rican, so I got to...
Cool, man.
But it's good talking to you guys.
Hey, always good to talk to you.
And, we'll have a good time in New York. Simone said he might come in from Italy for that show.
Really?
Yeah. Cool.
Will he be wearing that same shirt?
He probably... No, I think at this point, it's like, when you get in a car accident, they had to cut it off of him.
Right, yeah.
They held him down and they just, sanded it off.
And you've taught him the joys of deodorant?
I tried. I sent him a case of Irish Spring, but he can't read English, so I don't know if he thought it was candy or he thought it was a box of Frangos, but... Simone's a sweet guy, and God, his Wolverine stuff was on... samples of his Wolverine stuff was on the internet this week.
Yeah, I saw. I think it was also in Wizard.
Yeah, it was in Wizard too.
Was it in Wizard?
Yeah.
Yep.
Somehow I got off their comp list. They don't send me it.
Wonder why.
I can't imagine that. All right, man.
All right, gentlemen.
Well, we'll see you soon then. And
it's always good talking to you. And send me the info about the anniversary thing.
Okay, I'll do that.
And otherwise, then I won't see you guys until what? New York?
Yep. I imagine so.
February's right around the corner, so.
That's right. It'll be. And Buzz, you guys have stayed away from Buzz?
Yeah, kind of.
Yeah, no, I mean he's on our forum a lot now.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a popular guy.
Yeah.
He gets around.
All right, man.
Okay, gentlemen.
Have a good night and have a good holidays if we don't talk to you.
Yeah, right. That's right.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Congratulations again.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you, sir. Later.
Take it easy.
Bye-bye.
You hate to end that conversation.
No, I know, because it can just keep going.
We could go for another 3 hours easily.
I figure we probably should talk about comics a little bit in this episode. I'm going to try to get the Rios on the phone now.
Oh, for a little stump.
Yeah.
A little stumperino. We were talking about reading, and I did finish reading the 6 issues of Supergirl and the Legion of Superheroes. And actually, maybe you guys can tell me, because I asked my buddy, and he couldn't tell me. When did Tony Bedard start writing with Mark Waid on that? Was that the 1 year later, the 1,000 years later, when Supergirl came into it?
That slipped by me.
Yeah, did he co-write all those issues?
No, he didn't. I don't think he did. I think it was Mark Waid started it, and I'm wondering if that's why I'm really enjoying the 1,000 years later, the stuff with Supergirl, because I really enjoyed his stuff with the Negation when he was doing his cross-gen stuff, and it was just because. My problem with I just didn't think Mark Waid was able to write the big enough cast that was there, and that's what Tony Bedard always was able to do with Negation. He had a big cast. He was able to keep the story cohesive and coherent, and with all the different characters, and that's what I'm really digging about these last 6 issues. It's been very, a cohesive unit, and it's been very good. So I was just wondering, because he thought it was that. And do we have Peter on the phone right now? Peter.
Yo.
Hey, I was asking, do you know when Tony Bedard came on the Legion of Superheroes? Was that with Supergirl when it came back to 1,000 years later?
Tony Bedard, the writer? A writer?
Oh, co-writer with
Yeah,
Wade.
he's co-writer with Wade right now on Legion. I was just wondering when he started.
Oh, no, I have no idea. Actually.
Okay. Because nobody seems to have notices. That's the whole thing, I guess. So I was just wondering, because like I was just saying, I finished reading those
I just got
last
that trade.
6 months, and I'm really digging it. And I was just wondering if maybe that was one of the reasons I was enjoying it a little more than because he was on and he was putting his kind of spin on stuff.
Ah.
Hello, Peter. How are you doing?
Good. How you guys doing?
Pretty good.
We're good.
Good.
You missed the party last
missed
night.
a great party with some great. We were not going to tell you who was who. You'll have to look at the pictures, but
I can't wait to see him.
we've already said there were some great pictures going to be up on Flickr.
Cool.
And I will tell you, Adam's costume was worthy of wizard, worthy of a wizard costume contest entrant.
It was a Perez character, Peter.
Oh, that's awesome. Wait, you said it wasn't Jericho, though.
Yep,
Nope.
wasn't Jericho.
It wasn't Jericho.
No, it was one of the ones with mutton chops. I just like when I saw, I was like, damn it, why didn't I think of that?
Oh, I can't wait to see it.
Yeah.
It's good. All right, Peter, we got another guy going for the Marcosia trades, and I'll tell you right now, you better win because this guy's in Denmark. His name is Heine Jule Jensen, and we don't want to break the bank on international shipping, so let's hope. Actually, it's very cool, though, to find out that we have a listener in Denmark. I dig that.
Bring it on.
All right, question number 1, Marvel. What was the civilian identity of the Golden Age Angel?
Ooh. That's a good question. Richard Hertz. I have no idea.
Adam, do you know?
I know he was supposedly the benefactor of the Scourge organization, but I have no clue what his name was.
Thomas Halloway.
Oh, I was good. Oh, I was going to say Holloway, but I didn't know I was going to say Hollowell. Actually, I think I'm confusing with Maury.
All right, question 2, DC. In the Books of Magic series written by John Nay Ryber, Timothy Hunter was often accompanied by 2 wood nymphs given life by his imagination. Their names were?
Tanger and Crimple?
That is correct.
Wow.
Woohoo!
Wow.
Very good.
I knew you were going to get those because I knew you used to read that.
Oh yeah, I love that series. It was good. I shouldn't say I loved it. It was a neat expansion from the Neil Gaiman 4-issue miniseries, and there was a lot of cool stuff in that. A lot of cool background characters in that series.
All right, question 3. Independent. In the cross-gen comic Abadazad, the main character Kate used to read to her brother about the mystical lands of Abadazad before they themselves ever went there. Who was the author of those books about Abadazad?
And I have those two little new things out for my Hyperion books, but I haven't read them yet, so I don't know. I'll have to pass.
Franklin O'Barry. So...
Is that a take on, like, the Peter Pan name? What's the Peter Pan's author's name?
That was James Barry, I think.
J.M. Barry.
And L. Frank Baum.
I was going to say, I would put those 2 together.
Yeah. Cool.
All right, well, you made it.
No trades to Denmark, sorry.
No trades. Thank goodness. Are you reading anything on the bus?
No, I just finished. I'm not actually at the bus. I'm actually at home.
Oh, you're home already?
Yeah, I could have probably even stopped in, but
Yeah, what the heck?
I was going to say, I busted my ass getting over here.
yeah, I just got in. I was finishing up the Lone Wolf and Cub for our book of the month, and I have an off the rack that I guess I'll save for whenever I come in.
Cool.
Cool.
All right. Well, then we'll see you tomorrow.
All right. See you then.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Bye,
See you, Peter.
And he, like the skin of his teeth there.
It's a good one from our friend in Denmark.
Okay,
Yeah.
Who was the Golden Age Angel from? What was that from?
I don't even know.
Those,
Those Marvel comics.
yeah, just a golden age 1940s character, one of many that they cranked out.
Yeah, it was. He was one of like the recurring characters in the Marvel comics, with like the Human Torch and the Vision and the Angel and.
Well, we mentioned it briefly with Sal. Our episode 200 is November 11th. There's still time to get your ticket and get in there. We have so many prizes, and apparently now we'll have something from Sal as well, maybe an Atomica trade or some issues or something. We also have a whole stack of Marcosia trades. We have an entire 18-issue set of books from Rex Mundi signed. We have drawer boxes we're giving away. We have Exterminators trades. We have a whole bunch of different trades and hardcovers from InStockTrades.com. We have 3 $100 gift certificates from IndigoInkPrint.com, so you can get stuff printed up, like nice posters and prints and stuff. It's just going to be an awesome day. Mike Norton, Scott Neely, and Chuck Satterley are going to be there, and probably Chris DeBari. Chuck might be bringing Chris in. So it's going to be a really fun time. We're putting this together with the help of our sponsors, PixelStrips.com, BushyTales.com, GeekArmor.com, InStockTrades.com, Collectors.com, Comic Collector, Kablam.com, that's Ka-BLAM, IndigoInkPrint.com, MercuryComics.com, eGerber.com, and CollectionDrawer.com. So come on out and join us. Tickets are $5. You get a $5 off coupon for anything at Golden Eagle, so you basically get your money back. So just go to our website and click on the episode 200 link, and you can read all about it and order your ticket there. I guess that's all for today. Again, this episode of Comic Geek Speak was sponsored by Randall, the new webcomic from Randy Gentile. What happens when you're a 12-year-old kid who possesses all the superpowers you can imagine? You stay home and play video games. At least that's what Randall would rather be doing. Nevertheless, an endless parade of supervillains, giant robots, horrible monsters, high-flying ninjas, and trips to the mall to try on dress slacks with mom seems to plague Randall's daily life, which seriously cuts into his TV time. Like everyone else his age, Randall just wants to be a kid. But ever since he was granted his incredible powers, he has been forced to put aside his kid duties of slacking off and playing wiffle ball with his friends in favor of saving his small town from certain destruction at the hands of unimaginable foes. It's like extra homework that could actually kill him. He's also trying to figure out what to call his superhero alter ego. So every Wednesday in November, check out www.lazycomics.com, that's comics with an X, for the first pulse-pounding chapter of Randall, a webcomic by Randy Gentile, the guy who letters funny books like Ultimate Fantastic Four, Runaways, Punisher, and that book that has that guy with the claws for some company called Marvel. But anyway, they don't need any more plugs. That's www.lazycomics.com with an X for the ongoing tale of the biggest slacker superhero in history, Randall. And if you want to send us an email, it's comicgeekspeak@gmail.com and visit our website at comicgeekspeak.com. You can also find our recent episodes on worldfamouscomics.com and silverbulletcomics.com, as well as the latest in comics news, reviews, columns, contests, and more. And as always, we are uniting the world's mightiest heroes, one listener at a time.